If you're feeling nervous before speaking, you're not alone. And guess what? I'm not going to tell you to power pose. I'm not going to tell you to do affirmations and visualizations and chant and pray. All of that stuff has a place, but it's not going to make the difference that I want to talk about in this video. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Michael. I used to be the most nervous kid in the room for a long time, but then I discovered public speaking and I loved it. And I got good at it and it changed my life. Eventually, I coached Tristan de Montebello to be the 2017 world champion finalist of public speaking. And together we started this crazy company called Ultraspeaking, where the mission is to help people like you stop being so nervous, start being confident and expressing yourself in the moments that matter most. But how do we do that when nervousness is like this terrible, uncomfortable thing? Well, the question I get asked a lot is, how do I make it stop? And the answer I give a lot is, you can't. I'm sorry. That's just reality. Nervousness has to be there. Think about the athlete that's walking into the big game and they're feeling so much pressure. You think they're feeling nervous? Of course. Now you might be saying, but for me, this is just a tiny presentation, or this is just a casual conversation. It doesn't matter. If you're feeling nervous, your body's saying this is important to you and it wants you to succeed. So the adrenaline is gonna be there. But most people fight it. They say, I don't want to feel this. And so whenever it arises, instead of accepting it, they start to grapple with it. Nervousness is so normal. You have to be a sociopath not to feel nervous in these important presentations and meetings. How can you remind yourself every single time that nervousness is normal? More importantly, nobody can tell. I know you think they can because the ears are getting red and you feel yourself blushing and sweating in the heart, but that's an inner experience, and we've shown in so many videos that nervousness is something internal. And if you don't show it, they won't know it. So keep your nervousness to yourself and present your most confident self. That's called staying in character. Anyway, nervousness is normal. When you walk into that room and you're feeling that nervousness, one of the checks you want to do is, what are you focusing on? And for most people, it's the focus of myself. I want to do well. I want to come across as intelligent. I want to remember all my stuff. I can't forget my lines. I want to make sure that I do a good job. Me, 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 me. I get it. I don't blame you. I want the same thing for you too. Please like and subscribe. But that's not really the way that we want to optimize for confidence. Instead, can we shift the focus off ourselves? Can we do it on something more meaningful, like, I just hope my message gets across? Or I hope one person watching this video actually takes this idea of nervousness is normal and remembers it for the next presentation. Can you make your intention something that serves the audience a little bit more and takes it all about you doing a good job? That's not why you're there presenting in the meeting. You're there to start a conversation. You're there to engage in a discussion. You're there to present an idea, not to present yourself, but to present an idea. So take the focus off yourself, put it onto something more meaningful. And that's where it really helps to set an intention. I'm sorry to be so woo-woo, but intentions really matter, because at Ultraspeaking we know that energy leads, emotions follow, and words fill in the blank. That's why if you're focused on the words, you're doing it wrong, because everything comes from the energy, from the intention that we're carrying. So can you set an intention? How do you want to be in that job interview? I want to be genuine. I want that to come across. Or how do you want to be in that meeting? Well, I want to be present. I want to be open. If you can set an energy, an intention, everything's going to flow out of that, and you're going to notice that your words are going to take care of themselves. At the end of the day, however, it's just going to feel awful regardless, right? Because adrenaline is coursing through your body, and we have to remember that as this is happening, the worst part of all of public speaking is anticipation. It sucks to wait. I hate it. That's why it's so uncomfortable, is because you have this thing coming up and you just can't do it until it's your turn to speak. So the thing to remember is that once you start speaking, and I know you've experienced this in the past, once you start speaking, it disappears. The nervousness turns into flow. Speaking is a flow-oriented process. Once you're in it, everything gets better. So that means that if you're going to a networking event or if you're going to party and you don't know anybody, the best thing you can do is just to go up to somebody and say, "Hi, I'm Michael," or "I'm YouTube." "I'm whatever." Just introduce yourself. Start speaking, engage in conversation. People get nervous before presentations, but they feel kind of comfortable in one-on-one conversations. So can you treat your speaking as conversations, and can you jump into it as fast as possible? But sometimes you just have to wait. Sometimes you just feel nervous and you've done all the reframing in your head, and at the end of the day, until it's your turn, it just feels uncomfortable. In those moments, I gotta say, I'm so sorry. That's public speaking. That's it. I can't do anything about that. In fact, I remember a year ago, I had to do a live stream in front of my parents, ultra speakers, my wife, my friends. I brought all the community together and I performed for an hour freestyle rapping on Twitch TV. And guess what? The entire day felt miserable. And I tried everything. I did yoga, I tried going on a run, and these things usually help me, and I suggest them for anybody to just get that nervous energy out. But for me, none of that even worked. I even got to a point where I tried power posing. I was going nuts because I couldn't get this anxious feeling out of it. And it didn't help. And all day I carried it, and at 8 o'clock it was still there, and then at 8:01 I started to freestyle. And everything disappeared, and I had one of the best performances of my life. The point is that sometimes the adrenaline just has to be there because the event matters so much to you that you can't outsmart it. You just have to accept this uncomfortable feeling, and sitting with discomfort is a Buddhist practice that I'm trying to get better at in life, and maybe it's a little bit healthy for us to get better at it in speaking. At the end of the day, if you do want your nervousness to minimize, if you do want to reduce your physical symptoms, if you don't want every presentation to send you through the roof in your anxiety, the only way to do it is to practice your speaking. And at Ultraspeaking, that's why we exist. You can practice with other people, you can do it in an environment that's safe and supportive, and you can do it through games, because if it's not fun, then you're training the wrong way. But nervousness is something that you can shrink, that you can reduce if you remember that it is normal, that it's supposed to be there, that it's gonna go away as soon as you start speaking, and that at the end of the day, all you need to remember is to take that focus off yourself, put it on something more important like the audience, and trust that once you start flowing, everything's gonna take care of itself.